It is Tuesday morning, 5:30 a.m., in the vast almond orchards of the Central Valley in California. Usually this time of year, the air is vibrating with the hum of 30 billion bees released to pollinate the trees. But today, the orchard is silent. A terrifying, unnatural quiet hangs over the white blossoms like a shroud. You walk up to a white wooden hive box and knock on the side, listening for the angry buzz of the colony. Nothing. You pry open the lid with your metal tool, expecting to see thousands of insects crawling on the frames. The frames are full of honey and pollen, but the bees are simply gone. No dead bodies, just empty comb. This is the global colony collapse, a sudden, synchronized extinction event of the world's primary pollinators. In this simulation, we explore what happens when the biological workers that underpin 70% of our food crops disappear. To understand the scale, you must realize that bees are not just insects. They are flying genitals for the plant kingdom. Without them, plants cannot reproduce, flowers cannot become fruit, and the colorful part of our diet vanishes. Let's enter this collapse through the eyes of Silas, a commercial beekeeper who manages 5,000 hives. He travels from Florida to California every year, renting his bees to farmers who cannot grow food without them. At 6 a.m., Silas receives a call from his brother in Georgia. "They're gone, Si, all of them. The boxes are empty." A mutated varroa mite vectoring a new viral strain has wiped out the species Apis mellifera in 48 hours globally. By day 3, the panic moves from the farmers to the commodity trading floors in Chicago and London. Traders realize that while wheat and corn are wind-pollinated, the high-value crops are insect-dependent. The futures markets for coffee, cocoa, almonds, and apples go limit up, freezing trading due to volatility. You go to Starbucks, and the price of a latte has jumped to $15 because coffee is a bee-pollinated crop. By day 7, the bloom crisis hits the farms. The flowers are blooming, but nothing is visiting them. Farmers watch helplessly as the white petals fall to the ground, leaving behind a barren twig instead of a growing fruit. In a desperate attempt, farmers try to use leaf blowers to blow pollen from tree to tree. But biology is precise. A machine cannot replicate the delicate touch of a bee's leg on a stigma. By day 14, the dairy and meat industries face a shock that most people didn't predict. The alfalfa crash. Cows eat alfalfa hay. Alfalfa requires leafcutter bees to produce seed. Without seed, you can't plant the next crop. The price of hay triples. Ranchers realize they cannot feed their herds next winter, so they begin a mass slaughter. Beef prices crash temporarily due to the glut, but everyone knows that next year there will be no meat. By month 1, the grocery store landscape begins to change color, fading from a vibrant rainbow to a dull beige. You walk into the produce section. The apples, onions, carrots, lemons, and avocados are gone or rotting. What is left? Grains, bread, pasta, corn chips, and oatmeal. The diet of the world reverts to pure carbohydrates. The color famine begins. We have calories, but we don't have nutrients. Scurvy returns to the modern world. Silas is bankrupt. His hives are worthless wooden boxes. He is now hired as a consultant for alternative pollination. He watches as companies rush to build Robo-Bees, tiny drones designated to pollinate flowers. But a drone costs $50 and requires a battery. A bee was free and fueled by nectar. The economics don't work. You cannot replace trillions of biological workers with expensive plastic toys without bankrupting the farm. By month 3, the cotton crisis hits the clothing industry, causing a panic in the fashion world. Cotton plants need pollinators to maximize yield. Without them, cotton production drops by 60%. The price of a t-shirt jumps to $80. Clothes are made from synthetic polyester, plastic, which is uncomfortable and hot. Jeans, towels, and sheets become luxury items, repaired and patched instead of thrown away. The breakfast crash is the most visible sign of the new world for the average family. No orange juice, no coffee, no strawberry jam, no almonds in your cereal, just grey oatmeal and water. Silas visits an almond farm where he used to work. It is being bulldozed to plant wheat. The trees are useless now. The farmer is crying, destroying an orchard that took 30 years to grow. By month 6, the health consequences of the beige diet begin to show up in the population. Vitamin A and C deficiencies cause blindness and immune system collapse in millions of children. We rely on fruits and vegetables for the micronutrients that keep our bodies repairing themselves. Supplements disappear from shelves because the raw materials, plants, are gone. Multivitamins become contraband. The hand pollination era begins in China and spreads to the United States and Europe. Silas sees buses of human workers arriving at an apple orchard in Washington state. They are carrying small pots of pollen and paintbrushes. They have to climb ladders and touch every single flower by hand. A bee visits 5,000 flowers a day. A human can visit 300. The labor cost makes an apple cost $10. Fruit becomes a status symbol. If you are eating a blueberry, you are rich. The poor survive on gruel, a mash of corn and soy, fortified with synthetic chemicals to prevent death. By year 1, the ecological cascade effect moves beyond the farm and into the wild forests. Wildflowers don't set seed. Berries don't grow in the woods. The bears and birds that eat them starve. The silent spring finally arrives. No buzzing insects means no food for the songbirds. The bird population crashes by 70%. The forests become quiet, eerie places where nothing moves. Silas notices that the soil is changing. Without the diverse roots of flowering plants, erosion accelerates. Dust bowls form in areas that used to be covered in clover and wildflowers. The chocolate wars break out in West Africa and South America as the cocoa crop fails. Chocolate relies on a tiny midge-fly for pollination. If the collapse affects them too, chocolate ceases to exist. A single chocolate bar sells for $200 on the black market. It is used as a bribe for government officials. We realize that the joy of eating has been stripped away, leaving only fueling. By year 2, the pharmaceutical industry is in freefall because so many medicines come from flowering plants. Medicines for heart disease, cancer, and pain relief become scarce. The herbal knowledge is lost because the herbs themselves are extinct in the wild. Silas joins a government program called the ARC Project, designed to breed flies as alternative pollinators. Flies are gross, but they can pollinate. We start designing farms to attract millions of houseflies. The smell of the countryside changes from the scent of flowers to the scent of rotting meat to attract the flies. It is a desperate, ugly solution, but it is the only way to grow a tomato. By year 3, a new social divide emerges. The wind eaters versus the insect eaters. The poor eat wind-pollinated grains. The rich eat insect-pollinated fruits and vegetables. Health becomes the primary indicator of class. If you have clear skin and good night vision, you are wealthy. If you have scurvy gums and night blindness, you are a grain eater. The geopolitical power shifts to nations that produce massive amounts of grain: Russia, USA, Canada. Countries that relied on exporting luxury fruits, Chile, New Zealand, face economic ruin. Silas is old now. He keeps a single glass jar of honey on his mantle, sealed with wax. It is the last honey he ever harvested. He treats it like a holy relic, a sample of liquid gold sunlight. He tells his grandchildren about the sound of the hive, the smell of the smoke, the sting on the hand. They look at the jar with confusion. They have never tasted anything that sweet and complex. We thought we were the masters of the planet, building cities and internet cables. But we were standing on the shoulders of a tiny insect that worked for free. When the worker quit, the factory closed, and we realized we didn't know how to run the machines. We are clumsy giants, trying to do delicate work with fat fingers, failing to replace the magic of nature. The bee collapse didn't kill everyone, but it made life grey, hard, and tasteless. It stole the color from the world and the health from our bodies. So the next time you see a bee buzzing around a flower, don't swat it. Freeze. Watch it work. Watch it dive into the petals and come out covered in yellow dust. That dust is life. That insect is the only thing standing between you and a bowl of corn mush. Respect the buzzer. He is carrying the weight of the world on his tiny, translucent wings. Tell me in the comments. If coffee and chocolate disappeared forever, which one would you miss more? I'll see you in the comments, sipping hot water and pretending it's tea.